Thank you for this format. We get a chance to talk a little bit about some other things. I wanted to finish an answer that we began on the public safety. So the three prongs are better community policing, jobs, students for our reentry population. I want to talk about the last prong of that, which has a lot to do with the social service needs of a lot of our young people. Like Sean, and probably for twice as long, I've worked with the youth development community, and much of what we're seeing with our kids now is akin to what you see with children in war zones. Post-traumatic stress disorder is something that has been diagnosed or gone undiagnosed for many of the children in our community because of the violence, because of aggravated assault, because of homicide. It's very difficult to be in school when you feel like the community is under siege. I am very concerned as a citizen, as a parent, as a resident of this city, that we've allowed the crime to almost become normal. That when something happens, we think it's like now it's on page 3 when somebody gets shot and killed. It's not normal. It's not acceptable to be burying 15 and 16-year-olds. And we never talk about race. We don't talk about the inequities with black and brown boys in particular. And that as a city, we care about everybody. We care about every single person who lives in this city. But there are some people in the city who are suffering more than others. And we need to focus our attention on it. So if we think about public safety, if we think about it from the perspective of the young people in particular who are hurting the most, we got to have some dramatic response. We got to begin to have young people talk and understand police officers better. A few years ago, we did something called Code 33, which pushed that. The last thing I want to say is that if Councilmember Dale takes a couple of easy little shots at us about it's easy to blame. It's not about blame, it's about accountability. It's about accountability. If you've been in office as long as you have, you got to be accountable for what people in the city need. So that's only fair. I have to be accountable for what happens in the school district. Sean has to be accountable for what happens in Covenant House. So it's not about blame. It's about, let's talk about the reality. Let's talk about, do you feel better about your community 12 years later than you did 12 years ago? And if you do, you should re-elect the incumbents. All of the cities, our incumbents are saying it takes a long time. Sure, it takes a long time. But there's some things that can happen in the short term while you get ready for